Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is Department of English, Government College Attock. It's our BSc fourth year class, selection of margin prose. In our last lecture, we finished with the damned human race, and today we would start the last lesson. It is our chapter 2. It is basically a short story. The damned human race was an essay, but the last lesson is a short story, and it is not an English short story. It was written by a French writer, Alphonse Daudet. It would be pronounced as Alphonse Daudet. He was born in 1840 and died in 1897. He was a poet as well, novelist and short story writer. The story is written in the background of Franco-Prussian War. Prussia was a state, an empire in the Western Europe in the 19th century. It mostly comprised of uh, the regions that we now call Germany. So some people also refer to it as an older name of Germany. The Franco-Prussian War, or the Franco-German War, often referred to in France as the War of 1870, was a conflict between the Second French Empire and later the Third French Republic and the German states of the North German Confederation led by the Kingdom of Prussia. Lasting from 19th July 1870 to 28 January 1871. The conflict was caused primarily by France's determination to restore its dominant position in Europe, which it had lost following Prussia's crushing victory over Austria in 1866. So we see that the war was started because France wanted to restore its dominant position in Europe, but it lost that war, and it had to two of its towns, two of the towns of France, Alsace and Lorraine, they were occupied by Germany as a result. Because France lost that war, it also had to pay a huge sum of money as an indemnity to Germany, and therefore it was a very historical war and very significant in the history of France as well as of Germany. And French people, they were highly impacted by it. There are many stories written about it, and this is also one of them. Now, the what is the main theme of the story? The the story, it deals with the concept of language and culture. First, that the language that we speak, a community when it speaks a language, that language is not just a language of communication, it is also associated with culture. When we live in a culture, uh, language becomes a kind of expression of that culture. We talk about culture in language, culture, many cultural terms, they are expressed in language and through language. So language and culture are very important, and if uh, somebody, some community or some society, if they stop using their language, then it also affects their culture. It also has a bad kind of impact on their culture. Similar is the case with identity. When we live in a society, we want to have an identity. Means in the modern world, we cannot imagine that um, we can live without identity. In the modern times, usually identity is linked with culture and nation. Uh, for example, people are recognized that this is Pakistani and this is French or this is German or this is American. This is our identity. This is how we get recognized by the other people. This particular aspect, it is also very important because language is also one part of that identity. The language that one speak one speaks, that language is very important because it is an expression of one's identity as well. The people who speak French or German or American English or Pakistani, in Pakistan we speak Urdu or our local languages, they also are an expression of our identity. They are linked with us. And if we lose a language, if we stop speaking a language, then it also means we would lose that identity that is connected with it. Then there is also a language is also in the modern times connected with nationalism. Nationalism is uses language as a kind of anchor or as a kind of sport to build a national identity, and therefore in the modern times we have national languages. Every country has it, and this aspect that how language it affects us and um, how it is connected with these concepts like culture, identity, and nationalism. This is one of these are the themes of this story. In As I told you that the story was written in the background of Franco-Prussian War. So after the war, when two towns of France, Alsace and Lorraine, they went to went under the German control. The Germans, they decided that from now on, in the schools of these two towns, French language would not be taught, but instead German language would be taught, as the people who, as the countries who occupy other countries, they always do that. Our case is also one such case. In subcontinent, it also happened after the British occupied subcontinent. They implemented their language. That this is really one of the very important aspects of slavery as well. That if you are forced to speak or use the language of your masters, then you also become their mental slaves. And this is one of the themes of this story as well. And when we will discuss the text of the story, you will see that how the concept of language and culture is explored in it. So, till our next lecture, take care.